he gets us going.
And good morning. It's Michael with NWA Welcome Services and my beautiful wife, Arlene. How are you, dear?
Oh, just wonderful. And one of these days, we're going to get our opening right.
We will. We will.
But anyway, Michael and I are with NWA Welcome Services, and we are spending our time out in the community encouraging people to get together. And
we're in the business to connect newcomers and new homeowners throughout Northwest Arkansas. And it's really through our face-to-face marketing, door-to-door, bringing you great items in our basket from local community partners. We're certainly enjoying our time visiting with newcomers and new homeowners across Northwest Arkansas. And
we have a team that takes those goodies into the newcomers in
yes,
5
we do.
different local communities.
Yes, we
So
do, throughout
I'm pretty
Benton
excited
County.
about that.
Excellent. So we're broadcasting live here on Facebook this morning from the beautiful and newest location of Neighbors Mill, right here in Rogers off Pleasant Grove Road. This morning we're excited to have with us Mr. Michael Brooks with Neighbors Mill. And Michael's going to enlighten us and delight us throughout the next few minutes here with all the wonderful pastries and goodies that he has. Michael, tell us a little bit about kind of what's going on for Memorial Day. I know you've got shortened hours as well, but talk to us a little bit about your Memorial Day specials, any of those, as well as what's going on this week for you.
Well, sure. We've got, of course, you mentioned just now we're going to be open until 3 o'clock today. Our normal hours are later than that. Make sure you come out earlier today and for lunch or for breakfast. We're currently serving our breakfast menu, which has lots of choices of omelets and breakfast bowls, and we can always get you a nice sandwich, breakfast sandwich to go with meat and cheese and egg, and we can also, from the pastry side, get you a great cinnamon roll, sticky bun, lots of muffins to choose from. We have, of course, for Memorial Day, we have options for lots of cookies that we have here. Sugar cookies, our strawberry sugar cookies are very...
Strawberry sugar cookies?
Strawberry sugar
oh
cookies.
my gosh, that sounds awesome.
And we have chocolate chip, we have some snickerdoodle over there, lots of choices for your last minute Memorial Day plans. Also, we have our daily special, our grilled daily special today, which is our bacon turkey ranch. Has, of course, in the name, bacon, smoked turkey, lettuce, tomato on our neighbor's best bread. So, nice tasty lunch. Come in and eat with us today, or grab it for your trip out to the lake, or wherever your plans take you today. So,
Excellent. Well, something that I always sometimes forget to mention, you have curbside service as well, and that's very nice. You've got, 3 spots out there for curbside?
yes, you can always call in, and you can have us bring it right out to your car. You can also call in and come in and pick it up. All the options that we can provide for customers. We also recently partnered with Grubhub, so you can you can order it online and have it delivered right to your house.
Excellent,
So
excellent.
we're trying to meet people where they are, whatever their needs may be, get our good food into their basket.
Now, I've noticed also, Michael, that your footprint goes a little large here in Northwest Arkansas between Sam's Club and I believe I spotted you the other day in Kennedy Coffee. I believe you came right up and we sparked in on a conversation, and I was amazed that you have a footprint there as well.
Yeah, so we do get to the opportunity to serve our pastries, and we do some specialty items just for them. And so we've partnered with several businesses to get our food products on their shelves. You mentioned Sam's. We're still in that partnership, and we have 3 great breads over there. And so, good thing for people to get out for Memorial Day if they're into Sam's. We've got our great raspberry white chocolate bread there, garlic triple cheese, and our strawberry pecan sweet bread. So
all the good
great
stuff.
choices there too.
All the good stuff.
Yes.
All
Well,
right.
Michael, let me ask you about a couple things. At Kennedy Coffee, do you happen to have your sticky buns there?
We do not.
Okay.
They don't use the we do cinnamon rolls over there. They're not our sticky buns. So.
Okay, because I love your sticky buns. That's one of the things I got to try recently that I had not had. And you were talking about today, so I'm filling in for some things that we might want to have for our lunch or something. And Dawson, our son, he and I love that chocolate cake that you make. We had that on Mother's Day Eve when we were in. Do you have any of that today?
Oh yeah, we have our chocolate ganache cake that you're referring to. Definitely, we've got slices. We've got you can take it to go with you. Make a nice complement to your meals today. We've also got our lemon blueberry cake and our carrot cake, and we also have the Italian cream. Backed by popular demand.
Ooh, Italian cream. Great this time of the year.
So.
Excellent.
Oh, actually, we love it any time of year.
Well, that's true. We do.
So anything else you want our viewers to know about Neighbors Mill this weekend?
Well, just come on out. We're, like I said, mentioning earlier, we're going to be here till 3 today to serve you, and of course, regular hours the rest of the week. So come out and see what we got for you.
Well, Mike, I know that as I look around the restaurant, there are a lot of what I call great images of words that really signify what Neighbors Mill is all about. And gathering is really what is significant about Neighbors Mill right here. It is a place where folks can gather to come out for coffee, come out for breakfast, come out for lunch, have meetings. You've got a great room over here as well that folks can reserve. And but most of all, beyond anything else, it is a place where friends and neighbors can gather and connect, and that's what we like about Neighbors Mill.
Yes, and that's one of the main drivers as we were developing this concept, and we were interested in keeping a place where families could gather, where friends and colleagues could gather over a meal and break bread together.
Excellent.
Well, speaking of breaking bread, I told you I can't say that. Speaking of breaking bread, I have to slow it down. That's one of the things that we hear often in the Bible. And today we have a wonderful Christian group with us that's going to be singing.
Yes.
So we're going to switch it over to them. And the group is called Relentless Worship Band.
Excellent.
For this day, we're gathered in your name, calling out to you. Your glory like a fire, awakening desire, will burn our hearts with truth. You're the reason we're here. You're the reason we're saved. Presence in this place, your glory on our face, looking to the sky, descending like a cloud, you're standing with us now, Lord, unveil our eyes, Lord, the reason we're here, Lord, the reason we're saved. Open up the heaven, we want to see you. Open up the
Well, good morning and happy Memorial Day. And it's a beautiful day here at Neighbors Mill Bakery and Cafe. This morning we are here with Diana Langford. Diana and I have gotten to know each other through our activities in our volunteer service with Benton County Republican Women, but she is almost a newcomer still from Tennessee. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you for having me.
So how did you pick Northwest Arkansas?
Grandchildren.
Well, grandchildren.
At that time, it was one grandchild, and so we made a decision when our grandchild was born, Presley, that we would move here by the time she was 2. So we came and picked out property and had a house built, and we got here about 3 days before her 2nd birthday. So, and then now we have another grandson, Clayton, so we have 2.
Aww,
Yeah.
very good, very good. Now, what did you do back in Tennessee?
Well, I was regional director first with Manpower, and then I was moved up to chief operating officer for Manpower, which is a franchise. And I had 14 staffing offices in West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and a couple in Kentucky.
Now, what did your husband Eddie do?
Post Office, U.S. Postal Service.
Nice. Now, did he retire before moving here?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So, but you didn't.
No, I did not. And my idea was to kind of continue working, and so I worked from home here in Bentonville. And once a month, I would go back for 1 week to West Tennessee and work with my offices and with my clients. So I did that for 7 months, and then with another grandchild on its way, I thought, well, it's probably time just to kind of give that up. And so that's what I did. So end of January of 2015, I gave it all up. So I've been free since.
Nice, nice. But you and Eddie have stayed really involved in the community, and there's great things to do. Now, I sense that most of what you guys do is involving veterans.
Yes, since we're here. Now, back home, of course, he was the commander of the local American Legion, and I was on the city council in McKenzie, Tennessee, and the Carl Perkins Exchange Club, which was to help children. I was on the board there. I was also on the board of the Dixie Carter Performing Arts Center, the home of the Hal Holbrook Theater. I've had dinner at Hal and Dixie's home. It was wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
So I got a lot of great experiences with that. And I was also with United Way of West Tennessee, and kind of something that I think about a lot. I was the chairman of that, when it was over 13 counties. Mm-hmm. And we had a meeting here in Arkansas, Little Rock, as the Delta meeting. And Brian Gallagher, which is over United Way, I met him. So we come here for a meeting, or Little Rock, for never in the fathers from my mind that I'd ever think I'd be a resident of Arkansas. So that just kind of tells you that you never know
where
you're
never
going to end
know.
up.
No, and what a great place to move. I mean, Northwest Arkansas
Yes,
is really
Yes, it is.
something special.
Yes, it is. There's so much here, so much to offer, and of course, coming from a small town, I love all the shopping here, so I shop all the time.
Oh my goodness. What's so funny is people move here from big markets and they go, there's no shopping here. And of course, they should have been here 20 years ago when there really was no shopping here. So, you know, pretty much if Walmart didn't have it, you didn't get it. So, or else you went to Tulsa or Joplin or Branson or somewhere.
Well, that's what it was in Tennessee. We'd have to go to Nashville or Memphis or maybe Jackson. So, I mean, everything's at our fingertips here, so enjoy that. And we spend a lot of time with our grandchildren. We pick them up from daycare just about every day.
Aww.
And so it's, and my little grandson, he loves to come to Nina's house. Of course, I just love that.
So you're Nina, that's your grandma name?
Yeah, well, for my granddaughter, it's Nana, but to him, it's Nina.
It's Nina. How funny. How funny. Now, so the activities that you're involved with a lot this weekend, tell me what you did Saturday.
Okay, well, of course, my husband being a Vietnam veteran, and he's always had been so dedicated to veterans. And when he was at the American Legion in Tennessee, for 10 years, they would have a breakfast on a Sunday morning and then go out and put flags on veterans' graves. So that is so much in his DNA now. So the National Cemetery, which is great, it's all veterans there. So it makes it kind of easy. So we went and prepared our 2 grandchildren, Presley and Clayton, because my husband wanted to really to show them what it's like to do that, and they actually helped put out flags.
Oh my goodness! And that picture was actually. We'll show. If you guys don't subscribe to the newspaper, which I wouldn't be surprised at all if you didn't, but that was in Section B yesterday, of them and their grandkids out putting out flags. So, and you're off right after this broadcast. You're off to the National Cemetery again.
Yes, there is a great Memorial Day program there. I would encourage anyone that would want to hear some awesome patriotic music. Great speaker, Anita Deaton, that's with the Bozeman.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna show them. While you're telling us about it, I'm gonna show them the picture of your husband when he was in Vietnam.
So it is, if you want to really enjoy to the fullest Memorial Day, I would encourage you to come to Fayetteville to the National Cemetery. It is the patriotic music, the speakers are always great, and I'm assuming they're going to do this year. They have some Army recruits that they actually swear in at this.
Isn't that neat?
Yes, these young folks, it's just wonderful. So we've been there ever since we've moved here. So I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing. And to me, that's the highlight of this whole program.
Yeah.
Is swearing in these young recruits.
That's very cool. What a great memory for them.
Yes. Yes.
Now, one of the things you're active in doing right now is to distribute the new national motto, "In God We Trust," posters to local classrooms.
Yes.
So, tell us about how this came about.
Jim Dotson, Representative 93, actually introduced as House Bill 1980. And that was last year, and Asa Hutchinson, our governor, signed it into law August of last year, that in every public school room and library, classroom, library, or any classroom, or maybe or gym, anywhere that students can see this, would have our country motto, "In God We Trust." So I've been working with American Legion, with Post 77, and with Post 100. So as of today, we have in every classroom in Bentonville, we have one of these.
Which is how many?
I'm not sure how many in Bentonville, but in Rogers, there's over 1,200.
Wow.
Yes, and so I was honored and privileged to help deliver 600 and some of them this past week. And it's a good thing. And the American Legion, what I really, of course, Eddie was such a part of the American Legion, but what I enjoy the most is they're still serving.
Yeah.
You know, these are veterans still serving because they are getting the country motto in every classroom. And I was so overwhelmed at the response from the principals and the staff. You know, I really didn't know when we started out with this, you know, if they would say, you know, we really don't want that or whatever. And they were like, I've been waiting for that. And
I love that.
And some of the administrators said, hey, I want one in my office too, just not in the classroom. So they've actually ordered more to go into the offices.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is.
So American Legion Post 100 in Rogers has fronted the money for it, and they are raising money to kind of replenish their kitty.
Yes, about $400 more is what they're needing. So,
is that right?
Yes, so if anyone that would like to contribute, it's tax deductible. The check, American Legion Post 100 in Rogers.
Right, and the American Legion Post 100 is the post that's right across the street from the Rogers Post Office on Persimmon. And what's really neat is they also have breakfast.
Yes, they
First
do.
Saturday of every month, 7 to 10 a.m., and it's $7 all you can eat, and it's fabulous. It's not just like a little thing here or there. It's fabulous. So anyway, so right now those are in Bentonville and Rogers school districts with plans to expand.
Yes. The American Legion, and I'm not sure of the post number, in Siloam Springs is going to be getting it into Gentry and Siloam Springs. And I'm not sure who is which post is going to finish it all up. But anyway, the American Legion, we owe a lot to the American Legion. They took this project.
Wow.
They took this and ran with it. And without the American Legions, we would not have this in all of our schoolrooms.
Well, and I can tell you that they continue to serve long after their service
Yes,
is
they are.
done officially to our country.
Yes,
So they
yes.
continue to serve.
Yes.
So great organization. Well, Diana Langford, it is so exciting to have had you on. Thank you for doing this. We kind of asked her at the last minute, but I knew she was perfect for today for the special Memorial Day program. I'm Carrie Perrin-Smith. I will see you next week.
Remember the warriors who made the supreme sacrifice. Don't waste your time on earth. I am the fallen soldier, sailor, airman, and marine. Remember me. I am the one that held the line. Sometimes I volunteered, sometimes I went because I was told to go. But when the nation called, I answered. In order to serve, I left behind the family, friends, and freedom that so many take for granted. Over time, I used different weapons: a sword, a musket, a bayonet, a rifle, a machine gun. Often, I marched into the battle on foot, countless miles across whole continents. I had little water and even less food, but it did not matter because we had a job to do. Other times I rode to battle on horseback or in wagons, sometimes on trains, later in tanks or jeeps or Humvees. In early wars, my ships were made of wood and powered by the wind. Later, they were made of steel and powered by diesel fuel or the atom. I even took to the air and mastered the sky in planes, helicopters, and jets. The machines of war evolved and changed with the times. But remember that it was always me, the warrior, that had to fight our nation's enemies. I fought at Lexington and Concord as our nation was born. I crossed the Delaware on Christmas Day in 1776. Freedom was on our side. I defended the Chattahoochee River in the War of 1812. I would stand again. In the Civil War, I fought with my brothers and against my brothers, at Gettysburg and Shiloh and Bull Run. I learned that we must never again divide. In World War I marched on the Main and held the line at Belleau Wood. The war to end all wars, they called it. I just called it hell. In World War II, I fought everywhere, from the beaches of Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge to the sands of Iwo Jima and the hell of Guadalcanal. I stood against tyranny and kept darkness from consuming the world. In Korea, I landed at Incheon and broke out of the Chosun Reservoir. They called it the Forgotten War, but I never forgot. In Vietnam, I went and I fought in the Mekong Delta and at La Drang and Khe Sanh and Hamburger Hill. Some say my country wavered, but I did not waver ever. In the recent past, I have fought in Grenada, Panama, Somalia, and other desperate places around the globe. And finally, I have even fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, in Baghdad, Fallujah, and Ramadi, in Kunar, Helmand, and Kandahar. As technology advanced, I used night vision goggles and global positioning systems, drones, lasers, and thermal optics. But it was still me, a human being, that did the work. It was me that patrolled up the mountains or across the desert or through the streets. It was me that suffered in the merciless heat and the bitter cold. It was me that went out night after night to confront our nation's enemies and confront evil face to face. Yes, it was me. Remember me, for I was a warrior. But also remember that I was not only a warrior, I was not a soldier, sailor, airman, or marine. Remember also that I was a son, a brother, a father. I was a daughter, a sister, a mother. I was a person like you, yes, a real person with hopes and dreams for the future. I wanted to have children. I wanted to watch my children grow up. I wanted to see my son score a touchdown or shoot that winning basket. I wanted to walk my daughter down the aisle. Yes, I wanted to kiss my wife again. I wanted to grow old with her and be there to hold her hand when life grew hard. When I told her I would be there with her until the end, I meant it. When I told my children I would always be there for them, I meant it. But I gave all that away, all of it, on that distant battlefield, on some God-forsaken patch of dirt, amongst the fear and the fire and the bullets, or in the sky above enemy territory filled with flak, or on the unforgiving sea where we fought against the enemy and against the depths of the abyss. There, in those awful places, I held the line. I did not waver, and I did not hesitate. I, the soldier, sailor, airman, or marine, I stood my ground and sacrificed my life, my future, my hopes, and my dreams. I sacrificed everything for you. This Memorial Day, remember me, the fallen warrior, and remember me not for my sake, but for yours. Remember what I sacrificed so you can truly appreciate the incredible treasures you have. Yes, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You have the joys of life, the joys that I gave up, so that you can relish in them. A cool wind in the air, the gentle spring grass on your bare feet, the warm summer sun on your face, family, friends, and freedom. Never forget where it all came from. It came from sacrifice, yes, the supreme sacrifice. Don't waste it. Don't waste any of your time on this earth. Live a life that honors the sacrifice of our fallen heroes. Remember them always and make every day Memorial Day. Jocko Willink, who wrote this article, is a retired Navy SEAL, officer, author of Extreme Ownership, Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual, and The Way of the Warrior Kid series, and hosts a top-rated podcast called Jocko's Podcast. On this day, Memorial Day, remember those who have fallen, remember those who are fighting for us, and most of all, remember that we live in a country that has been given for us.
You give life, you are love, every night till the dawn. Yes, you give hope, you restore every heart that's broken. Wait on you, Lord. It's your
Thanks to Relentless from First Church of the Nazarene in Rogers. And again, we're glad to be hosting live from Neighbors Mill. This morning, we have a wonderful gentleman who is the flight commander and Second Lieutenant Brandon Holtz with us from the United States Air Force Band. Try to say that all at one time. Of Mid-America. That's a tongue twister. How are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us on such short notice. We're excited to have you. And tell us a little bit about your background and kind of where you came from and how you're here today for Bella Vista.
Okay. I grew up on the coast of North Carolina. I actually got my undergrad in music education at East Carolina University. I taught for a year at New Bern, North Carolina, high school band. And then I actually made my way over here to the University of Arkansas for my master's degrees. I had a common professor from the university, actually Chris Knighton, Dr. Chris Knighton. He's the director of bands ensembles at the University of Arkansas. Invited me for a graduate assistantship. I then taught actually high school band in Bentonville for 4 years, and then made my way up to Michigan to start my doctorate in wind conducting at Michigan State University.
Okay, but you were born in North Carolina.
But I was born in North Carolina, yeah.
So
So to become a
how did you end up in
musician and a
Michigan?
conductor, you kind of have to follow where the people are to study with, and so that's how I've made my way across the country to do those things. And then a flyer came up actually on Facebook in last January, I guess it was, and then after discussions with my teacher and with my studio mates, I decided to audition for the Air Force Band. Long story short, through interviews, and I was a finalist, flew to DC and conducted their premier ensemble and won the audition, and went to OTS in January, officer training school in January, and graduated in March, and I've now been at the Band of Mid-America for 3 months now almost.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, so what was it like? I mean, you went through being a high school director. So you've gone from civilian to more of a military world.
Yes, ma'am.
And how was high school directorship and then versus being in the military? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of difference
I understand.
there.
There is, of course, in culture, but music is the common thread
That's true.
in my life for this, and for the people that I work with are fantastic world-class musicians at the Band of Mid-America. The common thread is music is sort of a servant job. It's a shared experience, and from that aspect, whether it's teaching high school students to better themselves through music and performance and excellence in what they do. It's the same thing happens in the Air Force with our musicians. We have world-class musicians that tell the Air Force story. We're a human face for the military. You can't always see the maintenance officer or the cyber ops person that sits behind a desk, but we can get out and we can tell that story, and we can be a face for the military, and we do that through music. And that's a way to tell stories and education, whether you're educating students about bettering their lives or the American public about what it is that our military does and what we have to offer and how we protect our freedoms. That's one common thread to be able to get that message across.
Because with the musicians in the Air Force bands, you don't have to do a lot of directing or teaching of the basic music skills.
Oh no,
right?
ma'am. No,
They've
our
got
average.
that part.
Yes, ma'am. Our average musician has had 14 years of study on their instrument or through voice, or a master's degree in performance. We have very many of them have doctorates in performance as well.
We were listening to some of it last night.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yeah.
we're amazed at the vocal talent.
Yes, ma'am.
'cause
They're
of-
fantastic.
yeah,
Our two singers.
Typically, you think of
Yeah.
military bands as being just instrumental.
Yes, ma'am.
But we were really excited to hear that
Yeah.
you have many types of ensembles, including jazz and different things.
Absolutely.
So tell us about those different types of bands that you have.
Absolutely. In the States, we have 5 active duty. We have more reserve and Air National Guard bands as well, but we have 5 concert bands across the country, and then we have 2 outside of the States, one in Ramstein, Germany, and then one in Yokota, Japan, with a detachment that operates in Hawaii. It's a fantastic wide scope that we have. We also deploy to LUD when we do deploy, and then we serve countries in the Middle East and Asia when we go there as well. At Scott specifically, we have a concert band installation, so we have 60 musicians total, and that consists of a concert band, a big band, jazz band. We have, from those groups, we have small chamber ensembles, 2 brass quintets, 2 woodwind quintets, a clarinet quartet, actually, and that is fantastic. Clarinet quartet, yes ma'am.
Do they do a little Benny Goodman, a little...
They do everything.
They do
classical to popular music. Excellent. They're fantastic, versatile musicians. All of our musicians are. And we have billets for 2 rock bands. One of them is operational, which brings us to tonight's performance. Starlifter is here. Yes. And they have performed all over the world. My favorite story about Starlifter, which I'll tell again tonight, is last summer they toured 90 days, 109 performances. In 10 countries. And one of their diplomatic efforts, they were a part of an effort to gain landing rights in Kazakhstan. And after some of their performances, that opened the lines for communications with their heads of states. And we now have landing rights in Kazakhstan because of bringing in music and bringing in people and bringing in diplomacy instead of having to bring in bombs and guns, which we really are proud of.
I was amazed, Lieutenant Holtz, to read that you assist, of course, in kind of the organization piece of this, training, equipping, and deploying of 60 airmen musicians in 14 different configurations throughout a 10-state region of more than 600,000 square miles.
Yes, sir. It's a large operation.
How do you keep up with it in terms of engaging all of the priorities and knowing where to go next?
Absolutely. Well, one of our main goals is to actually we operate under public affairs. We are public affairs in the Air Force, and one of our main missions is to send a message that comes from our senior leaders. And so we operate at Scott under a major command called the Air Mobility Command. And so we're responsible for getting people anywhere around the globe that they need to go, military or goods. We actually are responsible for humanitarian services as well. So we just here in Little Rock down the road, some people may not know that there's an Air Force base there.
Yes.
That is the home of our combat airlift. And they send goods and services and a lot of humanitarian efforts when there's natural disaster relief, as well as goods for our troops across and overseas. A fun fact about the Air Mobility Command is that we, around the world, there's one of our planes is lifting off every 2 minutes.
Every 2 minutes?
Every 2 minutes. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
This brings me to,
Yes.
I want to bring that back to
Starlifter. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
And do they have like their own Air Force plane that takes them, during that tour?
Oh, no.
The big one that they did.
Yes, yeah.
Was there a plane waiting to take them to all those?
There we have, it depends. So for instance, that was one of the things that was great about that Kazakhstan mission is that they flew in on commercial planes, and from now on we'll be able to take Air Force planes in the country to send them to those types of missions. But yes, there are our planes that are responsible for taking our musicians around when we deploy. When we go across the states, we actually have charter buses, and so we ride around our 10-state area, and it's a lot of fun. It's great.
I'll tell you.
Sharing music and sharing the Air Force story.
So now I know how they're getting to Web City tomorrow night.
Yes, ma'am. This group has a van actually right now because we're small enough to.
They're not lifting off in a helo deer to move over to
no.
Missouri there.
No, we're not. Yeah. It's okay though.
Well, you are in Bella Vista tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are planning to be there.
Absolutely.
Just can't wait to see the performance. Yep. And then, as I mentioned, they'll be in Web City tomorrow night. That's just about a 15-minute drive north of the state line. So if you don't get to see them tonight, take a little trip up to Web City tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. And if you can't see us on this tour, we're following through Southwest Missouri after Bella Vista tonight. October 26th in Little Rock, there's a STEM fair, Science, Technology, Engineering, Math.
Yes.
Okay. Pre-registered schools can go to thunderovertherock.com, and they'll be able to participate in that STEM fair for educational organizations on the 26th, and then that will continue through the 27th and 28th for the air show. The main act is the Thunderbirds, which is great. I humbly would like to say that I think the star of the event will be Starlifter, because they're coming back down for a tour of duty through Arkansas again in October. So if you miss us now, we would love to have you out, but you can also catch us in Little Rock on the 27th and 28th of October.
Super. Well, if our audience wants to learn more about you, there's a Facebook page that they can go and see your schedule,
Yes.
your
Yes,
events
ma'am.
and such. How else can they get information, or
Hear
maybe if
wonderful
somebody
music.
wants to, well, hear, you can hear music. But if they also want to try to get in touch and find out, what your schedule's like, and if they can work out a performance,
Absolutely. A simple Google search of U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America will take you to the band's page.
Okay.
And all of our events are listed on the calendars on the webpage.
Awesome.
And then on our a Facebook search of USAF Band of Mid-America will take you to our Facebook page. We have all of our events listed there as well.
So if they miss tonight, they can get to Webb City at the King Jack Amphitheater Park, which is just a 50-minute drive,
Yes,
not
sir.
very long, from our state line right here in Northwest Arkansas. And again, you can learn more through their Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Band of Mid-America. Lieutenant Holtz, thank you so much.
Thank
Not
you for
only a
having us.
pleasure for you serving our country, but for being here today with us.
Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it.
Look forward to seeing you tonight.
Thank you, Arlene.
And thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, we are back. And we want to thank Relentless Worship Group once again for performing today. This is our second time to be graced with them, and we are just so enjoyed by their presence. And so now we're going to go to our newcomers segment. And today we have a very special guy with us, and that's Barner Stonecipher.
Right.
And this is my first time to meet him. I did text with him under my husband's identity once and asked him if he was related to the superintendent of my school system that I was growing up in, because I had not heard the name Stonecipher before. But Barner has recently retired from Little Rock, where he was CEO of BLS LLC, BLS Designs LLC. And Barner, tell us how you, your beautiful wife Louise, and your two Shih Tzus, let's see, what are their names?
Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Yes. How did the four of you choose to move to Northwest Arkansas?
Well, my wife always wanted to live in the mountains or close to the mountains, and we wanted to get in that area because of what her desire was, and we always liked this area. And I said, we were going to sell our house. I said, if we're going to sell, now's the time. We need to just move north. So we got here. Came.
Okay. So you got close to the mountains.
Yes, yes. And
Not
we
in the
see them
middle
when
of
we're
them.
driving around.
Yes. So, awesome. Well, you've been getting to know a bit about Northwest Arkansas and exchanging restaurant favorites with my husband, I believe. And so how long have you been here now? And tell us what you found that you really love about the area.
We came in September. We started renting, came from Little Rock, and then we bought a house in December. And we've just been going all over. When we were looking for a house, we drove through Farmington all the way up to Bella Vista, all the areas in between. We love that I-49 connects all of those areas. And I love food. And people kid me about going to all these different restaurants, but it's lots of fun, and there are lots of restaurants up here. In Little Rock, I thought we're going to move away from the restaurants we like, but we found many, including this place, Neighbors Mill, which we like a lot, and we've really enjoyed that. Plus, we're looking into all of the other activities that Michael brought in his basket when he came to see us. I call him Mr. Welcome Wagon. And so I guess
We
you're
just call him Mr. Welcome.
You know? So we're checking out a lot of those things that he brought to our house.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you are, and that's what our business is all about, is
Right.
taking that information about the community into homes such as yours so that you can explore a lot of things on a document or in a catalog or a book,
Sure.
and then go out and make your decisions on where you want to go. Because sometimes you can overlook a treasure when you're going
Sure.
down the road, and those guides help you to find some of the hidden treasures.
I know when he was talking to us, he mentioned the dogwoods blooming and the train ride and things like that that I would not have thought about if he hadn't come to our house.
And you can always see those blooming dogwoods down by Crystal Bridges in
Yes,
Bentonville.
yes, yes.
Excellent. It's recently you and Louise, with the spring, have started creating some things around your outside of your house, and some things that require many trips, but they're kind of local trips to nurseries and to home improvement stores.
Yes,
So
yes.
tell us about your project that you've been working on.
Well, we like gardening and landscapes. We've always liked flowers and shrubs and trees. And my wife actually designed part of our backyard. It's not a big backyard, but she designed after looking on the computer at these different ideas. And we have put gravel, and I actually laid stone along the edge as a border. And that gets heavy after you do it for a while. And then in the front, I put a heavier stone edging, and I have planted several blooming things in the front. I love roses, and we planted roses in the front. I took up everything that was in the flower bed. You know, sometimes builders maybe they're not as choosy with things that you really want. So I took out a lot of those things and replanted. And it's looking good. It's not all blooming yet, but we really enjoy that. Louise has been gone and has not helped as much lately, but I hope soon that she'll be back to help.
Good. Well, when Michael did his visit, did he tell you about the great composting facility in Bentonville?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He did.
I know I always talk about that if I find out I'm visiting with a gardener, because that stuff will grow your plants. We had cannas that reached the
Wow.
eaves of our house
Wow.
when we used that once. So
Yep.
some good stuff.
Good to know that.
Yeah. So, well, you're also. It appears you've been getting very, very busy with your church that you've found quickly, and through music, making friends, and Bible study.
Right.
Well, it must be a Baptist church because it seems like everything that you go do has one commonality, and that's a lot of eating.
Well, that's true. That's true. Baptists do eat a lot.
So, okay. And is it a Baptist church you found?
It is. It's
Okay.
actually First Baptist Church Centerton, which is not far from Bentonville, where
Right.
we live. I was checking out different churches, and actually I went to their website and played sermons from our preacher, Joshua Babb, and I was just amazed at how biblical he was in his Bible preaching and enthusiasm, but actually humble all at the same time. And I thought, this church is amazing. And then we visited, and the music and his preaching and the friends that we've made there. So many friendly, wonderful Christian people. It's
It
just
is-
wonderful.
It is a very friendly church, and our son used to go to school there when he was
Right.
in elementary school, and we knew it under another pastor, that Stuart Bell,
Yes.
that we all thought would be there forever,
Yes.
and then he went on to do other things.
Right.
So we have not visited with the new
So
pastor.
you all were members there then.
We weren't members, but we were looking at becoming members there.
You must come back.
So, okay, well, we're kind of stuck where we are right now with some dedication, but we will
Okay.
come visit at least.
Good.
Okay?
Good.
So, anyway, with all that said, what kind of activities are you involved with, and what things are you doing in your church?
Okay. I am in the older choir, not the one that's up in front of the congregation, but we have an older group that goes to nursing homes and sings. We have 4 different nursing homes we go to and sing for the people that are residents there. And if we're not at those nursing homes singing, we're practicing on Tuesdays. And some of the people in that group go and eat lunch after the choir practice. And if we're at a nursing home, then we go eat lunch after the nursing home singing. And then I go to a Bible study on Thursday night. And I've been asked to join the adult choir in front of the congregation. I haven't done that yet. Of course, we go to Sunday school. I have a wonderful Sunday school teacher, Vaughn Johnston. Wonderful family. He's such a delight. And then on Sundays after church, I've been invited to go eat lunch in a nearby restaurant. So we're checking out the restaurants, the food again. So that's pretty much it. In addition to going to church, the church part.
All right. So that is, between that and the landscaping and taking care of the dogs,
Yes,
you are
yes.
very busy.
It's pretty busy. It's
Well,
pretty busy.
Somehow you got to figure out a time that you can fit the Finkies into your schedule and let me meet Louise, because I haven't had that
Yes,
pleasure.
I would love for you to.
Well, I thank you for joining us today. I
Thank you.
enjoyed getting to know you a little bit.
Thank you.
Hopefully, as I said, I'll get to meet Louise at some time. We do have prayers going up for her. Please tell her that we're praying for her and her sister's condition.
Thank
and,
you. Thank you
that
very
we look
much.
forward to spending a little time with her in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, let's go back to our praise and worship band. I'm sorry. I forgot we changed that up. We're going to go over to community awareness. Let me tell you, there's a little hidden person that you haven't heard about probably. So let's go and listen to Michael talk with that individual.
Well, thank you, Arlene and Barner. We appreciate Barner coming on the show as one of our newcomers to the area. We're excited to have him from Little Rock. Thanks again, Barner, and sometime we'll get you back on with the dogs. So today we're here in our community awareness section, with the introduction, if you will, of the Special Olympics in the Arkansas Summer Games, which are held each year at Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas. Now, the event brings over 2,000 athletes and 500 coaches from across the state. The largest event of the year, Summer Games, features competitions in athletics, bocce, unified bocce, flag football, powerlifting, swimming, and team football, softball rather. Every race, every game, every competition held at the Summer Games represents many weeks of training, preparation, and dedication on the part of our athletes, coaches, and volunteers. Today, we're excited to have Joey Welch, one of the Special Olympic state champions, that's here with us. Joey, great to have you on our program. And now, Joey, you had some exciting days recently in Searcy. Now, just last week, I understand, the 24th through the 26th, Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So did you know that when you were at this event, there were going to be so many athletes performing there?
Yes, I did. This is not my first time being at Harding University.
Okay.
I've actually been there half a dozen times. This is actually my first swimming state, so there was a lot of nerves, a lot of things going through my mind. And when I seen all the crowd, all the swimmers and stuff like that, it was a big event. I mean, I actually did track and field over the years with different organizations around the world. So
excellent. So you've done this. This isn't your first rodeo, so to speak.
No.
How do you prepare generally, Joey, for these various events?
There's a lot of mindset, a lot of endurance. Like for you to do track and field, you have to make sure you do all your stretches, go through all the ropes. How I got prepared for swimming, I got in the mindset of, what I need to do to conquer the gold, what I need to do to conquer the medal, conquer what I need to do and step in, and then when I dive off the block, what can I do to breathe right? Because it's all about breathing in swimming. You got to breathe right, because if you don't breathe right, you're going to overwhelm yourself, you're going to get sick, and then you're going to just collapse, and you're going to put your body through, what you don't want to put it through. You're just going to, that's what my coach taught us how to do, to swim better, to be the greatest, to be all you can be, stuff like that.
So you've been doing this for how many years now, Joey?
I actually have 9 gold medals, 5 silver, 1 bronze, and 1 other swimming medal. So little over probably 6 or 7 years in Special Olympic background.
Wow. How many do you estimate in terms of participants that come to be involved in the event, and then how many kind of get weeded out over time?
Well, how I train, it takes a lot to, get athletes going. It takes a lot to get them. There's a lot of mindset. People like, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know how great I will. We just let our athletes know that be all you can be the greatest. It doesn't matter if you win, you're always the winner. That's our motto, And when I train, or when I help train the athletes getting to prepare, swimmers, track and field, I just go, what would you do if you was actually there?
So there's an oath that I understand for all who participate in the Special Olympics. Can you tell us that oath?
I can, and I have that memorized, probably because they don't necessarily drill it, but in our opening ceremony, they do it every year. It's actually an oath that's been around for generations, ever since Special Olympics started. The oath is, let me win, and if I cannot win, let me be great in the attempt. Let me be brave in the attempt, Let me be brave in the attempt.
Excellent, excellent. So, tell me a little bit about what it takes to kind of advance to nationals, because obviously with these medals you've won and just having returned from Searcy with some additional medals,
Um, for me to get to nationals, for anybody to get to, it takes a lot of endurance. For you to get to nationals, for swimmers like me, what I want to do, I want to advance in nationals, to go to nationals, just to say, to try to win, big events and try to bring home the gold. I would have to do 2 years of area state sports camp, 2 straight long years, because the reason they don't do sports camp this year is because they have nationals this year. I think it's actually June 6th. They have nationals. So I would have to do 2 long years of state competition, area competition, sports camp. And sports camp is like a week of endurance, flag football, powerlifting, aquatics, track and field, just basketball, just 5 sports, 5 days.
Wow.
It's a lot. And I've actually done 1 year of sports camp. So it takes a lot to get to nationals. The people that are going to nationals, the people that have been to nationals, we have people that actually been in my organization, has actually won gold in her event. So,
Well, fantastic. I'll tell you this. It looks like the Team Arkansas has been selected for the 2018 USA Games in Seattle, Washington.
yes,
Now, those are held July 1st through the 6th.
yes,
This is an interesting fact we found. The team is made up of 72 athletes, 23 unified partners, 30 coaches, and they'll participate in 11 different sports. Well, we want to wish them, Joey, very well.
Yes, we do.
And stay tuned for our final Memorial Day segment, where we'll be joined by a 19 kilo 30 M1 tank platoon sergeant. We're excited about that. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
It's
and we really appreciate our worship band. So let's give them a hand.
Yes, relentless. Excellent.
Okay, well, we decided that we would start this show with military information and guests, and that we would end it with a military guest. So today we have Sergeant Patrick Walker, and he is now retired from active duty. He spent his military career leading a tank platoon into combat. He would tell you he was responsible for taking care of the troops, making sure they were ready for battle, and fighting alongside of them from inside a tank. His title was 19 Kilo 30 M1 Tank Platoon Sergeant. Sergeant, welcome, and thank you for your service.
I do it again.
Appreciate you.
You know it.
Well, Sergeant Walker, I said that how you would say what you would say, but let me tell you, you had a lot of responsibility during that time frame that you didn't include in your initial description.
You have no idea.
I went out and did a little research. An Army writer actually writes your job description like this: serves as a platoon sergeant in the only heavy armored cavalry regiment in the U.S. Army, responsible for the health, welfare, and professional development of 16 NCOs and enlisted soldiers, preparation for combat operations, serves as the primary advisor, you have my greatest respect,
Yes.
primary advisor to the platoon leader on all enlisted issues and makes critical decisions in his absence. Plans, coordinates, and supervises activities pertaining to critical organizational training, combat operations, and combat intelligence edits, and prepares tactical operations plans and orders. Wow. Again, I say thank you. What was it like having that kind of responsibility?
It was overwhelming at first. I have multiple times that you feel like you want to just give it up, but when you earn the respect of your men, you keep on, you never stop, you go forward. And it's just one of those gratitude feelings that you'll never ever repeat in your lifetime. When you have all these men looking up to you for leadership, it's the best feeling in the world. There's no other camaraderie that you can ever have. Not only did I have men in the tank with me, I had three I had to personally take care of. I had to worry about the well-being of everyone else. I give you, for instance, we were doing an operation order, and we got an order down during training to do a hasty offense. There was a minefield out there. My platoon went into the minefield. Not only did I back them out of the minefield, I gave my gunner complete control of the tank, which I had complete confidence in. He took out the enemy position, enemy tank at the far end, and I took out a 113, enemy 113, and we all got awarded right on the spot because we didn't know the adjutant general was right there behind us.
Oh, wow.
So they put medals on us right there in the field. So you gotta be able to multitask. You gotta be able to keep your mind completely clear. When the radio going, two radios going, everybody's screaming in your tank, and you're listening to everybody else, you gotta know what you're doing. And if it wasn't for the training that I got from my prior NCOs, I'd have never made that test.
Wow.
Sergeant Walker, what is it like when you're in a tank and you're having to listen, just as you talked about, and really understand, for those that haven't been in the military, the different thought processes that have to go through your mind to coordinate and to take out the enemy?
Well, for one, it's total chaos in there. Like I said, you not only have, you're telling your people what to do. We all practice fire commands. We try to keep it silent. It's the battalion net, the company net that will interfere with you. You got to be able to block out each of those radios and know which one to trigger to communicate. Like I had to send in spot reports. Like if we engage the enemy and like my wingman, he would report to me that he took out an enemy tango. That's a tank. I had to call that in to hire. I call it in my lieutenant. If he's busy, I take it. You have to be able to, like I said, you got to put 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. You have to be able to multitask. And if you have never been in a tank or anything like this, it's complete confusion.
Talk to us a little bit about that briefly on being in a tank is like, give us an example of.
It's being in, let me see, taking a whale and sticking it in a Volkswagen. There is no room in there. You have to have complete body discipline in there.
Right.
The gunner can't sit like he's in a block because the gun tube, as it comes down, if he's doing that, it can crush his leg. The driver has a certain way he has to sit in there, or it can flip him up into the hatch. He has to drive with the hatch shut.
And obviously the temperature in there is no exciting.
It can be minus whatever the cold is, and I've been up to 160 degrees in heat.
Because it's due to the outside temperature.
It was hotter inside. And ammo was nearly at cook-off at 180 degrees. And we're sitting in flat suits. We call it nomads, but all they are is a glorified flat suit for us. It keeps us from getting burnt. The 120 millimeter round is completely cardboard and gunpowder, except for the projectile. The whole thing goes down range. If you have a flash fire in there, we have special walls that goes up. That's why we wear the suit. We're completely covered from face, everything, gloves, everything.
We think of firemen doing that and how much heat that if they were in the winter even, how much heat is kept in.
You get a total new respect for firemen after you wearing this stuff.
Wow.
What is the space like in terms of you're talking about kind of a whale in a Volkswagen?
The gunner has about this much space to sit in, wide, and you got about that much space between the back of your seat and the sights. The loader has the most room.
How do you cope?
You cannot be claustrophobic because you don't see nothing except what's out that gun sight.
Well, how many hours are you in there at a time?
I've been in there for 3 days straight.
Never leaving it?
Never leaving. Except for to
take care of business.
Take care of business.
Okay.
And if you're in a combat situation, you can't leave the tank.
Unbelievable. For military youth serving today, what would you tell them?
Very carefully pick out what job that you would like to do, and I would advise them to do something that would help them in an outside career if they decide to get out of the military. My personal advice is that once you get in, stay in, do your 20, and be careful of all your surroundings. It cost me, and I didn't get to finish mine out because I got hurt. That M1 is a monster. If you don't know it, if you're not careful, it will hurt you. And that's the same with any other military vehicle they have out there. Whether it be helicopters, planes, tanks, it doesn't matter. You got to keep your P's and Q's. But retire out.
There's a lot of great benefits in the military, Patrick, in terms of education and.
You do 20, you got to check when you come out. They got college for you. You can put money in, so when you do get out, you've got money to go to college. They got all kinds of training. They have all kinds of stuff that you can do on post. They got rec centers. It's set to take care of the soldier. But you got to keep a square head and just do your duty and then enjoy it. It's a job, and it is an adventure. It was the best 13 years of my life.
Well,
Sergeant, what most people don't know is that our family has been blessed with the honor to call you Patrick instead of Sergeant Walker. That we have had many a conversation with you that has been a blessing. That we have been able to call you friend.
Y'all have been my closest friends for a long time.
Well, I just want to tell you today it's an honor that we can not only call you friend and Patrick, but that we can call you Sergeant, and that we can thank you for your service too.
I appreciate you too.
Thank you,
sweetheart.
sweetie.
You bet.
We're going to make you stick around for the closing.
I do it for y'all anytime. I wish I could still do it. I miss it.
Oh, you've done more than you know for us.
We want to thank you for joining us this morning.
You know it.
Talk about
It's
your
my honor.
service to
My
our
honor.
country.
It's my honor.
All right, so we're going to wrap up.
It's time to wrap up another good morning neighbor from Neighbors Mill. So, Michael, we don't even look at your script because there's nothing there. That's the part we never wrote last night. So again, this has been a great day here at Neighbors Mill. They had a light breakfast crew with our group because for some reason people wanted to sleep in on a holiday, I think.
On Memorial Day of all days.
And now we're seeing lots of breakfast bowls coming out, and so it is a great place to come and have a brunch. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I think we need to wrap up thanking our sponsors
I do
today. And we want to thank Bolt NWA for production and technology, Barton Consulting LLC. Our furnishings are supplied by Ashley's Home Furniture Store. Most of all to our good friends at Music Works and, of course, Meteor Guitar.
And as always, KR Promotions.
Yes.
Simply Cool for their wonderful coolers. We're going to get that guy back on the show soon.
Yes.
Nothing Bundt Cakes, melts in your mouth. Rick McLeod's Farmers Insurance, Minuteman Press Printing for keeping us lined out a lot of times.
Exactly.
And as always, Mike and Robin here at Neighbors Mill, where you can come break bread with the neighbors.
And finally to Relentless, that great band that we had today
Yes.
here with us. We want to thank them for coming once again and just blessing those folks who have been here at Neighbors Mill and our live audience as well.
And until next week, this is Arlene and Michael saying, good morning, neighbor.
Good morning, neighbor.